guy at the top of everybody's list is Trevor Lawrence. Off to a great start so far this season, 5-0, 15 touchdowns, one pick, completing about 67% of his passes. I don't really think the numbers do him justice, though, as a player. Turn on the tape. He's just kind of, one of those quarterbacks that you see that was kind of born to play the position. Mechanically, he's really sound, and then he just has the natural ability to make all the throws on the field. Doesn't matter, what pace it is. He can put touch on it. He can fit it into a tight window if he has to. Throws a really catchable ball. He throws his guys open. And even the incompletions that he throws, he puts them in a good spot where either his guy's going to make the play or it's going to be, a safe throw. So a lot to like from Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, he's, one of those prospects that, kind of comes around once every 10 years. And whoever is the first pick this year is going to take him. But I think that he's just kind of a can't miss prospect. One of those guys that he's, playing NFL ball right now on a college field.
Just from the old Parcells, like, are they built to last standard? I think this guy has a much better chance of having a sustainable career than the last three number one picks for a few different reasons. But especially when you look at Mayfield and Murray, like, this guy is, I think, Andrew, you put it best. He was born to play the position, but he really looks the part. And from a physical standpoint, like, I think he can withstand the rigors of an NFL season right now.
I feel bad for Justin Fields because I think most years he might probably be the number one quarterback taken. It's just, this year with Trevor Lawrence, it's kind of a tough draw for him, but he's one of those prospects, probably going to be top 5 pick, can go in day one and help a team win right away. 6'3", 225. He has really good touch on his deep throw. Ohio State likes to stretch the field vertically. They've had a couple receivers during his time there that he's been able to burn some DBs with those deep balls, and he just puts in a good location, good tempo on it. He also hangs in the pocket. He's a dual threat guy, but he likes to hang in the pocket and deliver the ball if it's there. He doesn't need to use his legs, but Ohio State in their offense, they do some zone read quarterback designed runs, and he's excelled in that as well. But similar to Trevor, he when he breaks the pocket, he's looking to throw first. But he maybe isn't as smart with his body when he does tuck it and run. He likes to lower his shoulder. So I'd like to see him at the next level, maybe slide or get out of bounds just to limit some of those hits on his body. But he has a lot of traits that teams are going to like. He's been on a Netflix show his senior year in high school. He's kind of been on the spotlight ever since, and his character has no questions. He walked into Ohio State after transferring from Georgia and was named a team captain.
Justin Fields looks like Cam Newton. He is as well built as you'll see any college quarterback.
So next up, we got Trey Lance. He's probably going to be the third quarterback taken out of North Dakota State. He's a redshirt sophomore. This year was kind of unique for North Dakota State, given the pandemic. They obviously didn't have a season, but they played one game 2 weeks ago. There was just kind of a showcase game. I really think it was just for him. But in his one game, he completed 50% of his passes, had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I don't really read too much into that game. But during his redshirt freshman season, he was 16-0 as a starter. He had 21 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and I think another 20 on the ground. So he's a true dual threat guy. I think that he lacks consistency in the passing game, but what he lacks there in consistency, he makes up for with his legs. So we said the other 2 guys can make plays with their legs, here and there. I think Trey Lance has the ability to take it to the end zone from any part of the field on any given play. He showed it multiple times. I think he has 3 touchdowns in his career over 75 yards. So he has that big playability with his legs. Like I said, kind of with the first 2 guys where they're not calling plays in the huddle, he is. So from that aspect, that transition should be normal for him. All right, so moving on, we got Mac Jones out of Alabama. Had a big game last week against Georgia, and he's just kind of the prototypical Alabama quarterback, it seems, where he doesn't make mistakes. He gets the ball to the playmakers, and he kind of lets them do their thing. But Mike asked earlier in the week for guys that kind of would be similar to a Joe Burrow situation where they kind of came out of nowhere to kind of skyrocket some draft boards, and I think that Mac Jones could be that guy this year. A lot of similarities between Burrow and Mac Jones here with the talent around him, I think you can make the comparison to the receivers that Alabama has this year. It's pretty similar to what LSU had last year. Same, he's going to be protected, has a good run game. They really put him in an easy position to not make mistakes, but he's not a game manager. He's not one of those guys that they're just saying, hey, don't make mistakes and we'll win the game.
He's lining up with two guys that have similar explosiveness to Tyreek Hill, which is a really big statement. And that's why I think he's a little bit of a harder evaluation. Most NFL teams don't have that sort of talent, at receiver that they've had in back-to-back years.
All right, moving on here with the last guy, Zach Wilson out of BYU. He's probably a guy that most people really haven't heard of until the last couple of weeks. It's his second year as a starter now for BYU. He's really done it all for him. He, can run, pass, has a little bit of that Johnny Manziel play, behind the line where he's kind of running around waiting for someone to get open. But he has the ability to do that, and then you'll see him just do a 5-step drop and throw a post right on the money. So he can kind of play both ways. He's in a system with Jeff Grimes at BYU where they're pro style. They want to run the ball to set up the pass, and teams are trying to kind of stop the run here early on in the year, but it hasn't worked. And the play action game that Zach's been able to use at BYU has been awesome. And he's one of those guys that a bunch of us have watched and we've loved. He's been almost perfect on the year. He has had one game where he completed all his passes and one game where he had completed all of them but one. So for the year, he's 79%, a true 79%. He's pushing the ball to all areas of the field.